17 members and associates of the Hells Angels are facing criminal charges in a violent attack.
Federal agents allege the outlaws sold drugs, traded firearms, and engaged in insurance fraud and even tampered with government witnesses.
We have learned there is cell phone video as well as surveillance video of evidence in this attack.
The U.S. Attorney characterized today's raids as historic, the largest federal bust on organized criminal gang activity.
Retaliation is common for crimes involving biker gangs. However, it could happen anywhere because of how interconnected gangs have become nationwide.
The 3-year investigation resulted in 42 federal indictments on a variety of charges, including racketeering, money laundering, drugs, gambling, insurance fraud, and extortion.
There's a bunch of bikers up here, and they're shooting guns and stuff. I need the police now.
Play on foot going towards 2nd Street. Okay, receive.
Welcome to this episode of Biker Wars with Bill Staxx. I appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch this show. We got a good show for you guys. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you could get my videos every time they drop. If you guys don't know, we got some new content dropping, a lot of interviews. Things are going in a great direction. I appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch this show. We try to keep you guys informed on what's really going on out there. So, damn, that's crazy. I just found out someone I know passed away. It's pretty wild. You know how it is. I mean, you never think someone's going to pass away until it happens. But rest in peace to you. It's a sad situation. So let's get into today's story. So today's story is about this guy. Man was convicted of murder for fatal shooting at a motorcycle club. The motorcycle club was the Envy'Us, I think the name of it is. It's a female motorcycle club, I guess. And so allegedly what had happened was a Lucas County jury convicted a Toledo man for murder Wednesday afternoon in another man's shooting death almost a year ago during a melee in a central Toledo after-hours club. The jury of 8 women and 4 men just took over 3 hours to find DeAndre Koonce, 30, of the 1800 block of Airport Highway guilty of alternative counts of murder and felony assault of the March 3rd shooting of Caprise Arnett. I got a picture of him too. This is the guy he shot and killed. So, Arnett, 34, collapsed outside of the clubhouse of the Envy'Us Ryders Motorcycle Club. Now, this is in Ohio, Toledo, Ohio. The Envy'Us Motorcycle Club. It's called Envy'Us Ryders. And it's spelled ENVY'_US, Ryders Motorcycle Club, in the 1400 block of Belmont Avenue following an incident inside. Although he did not take the witness stand in Lucas County Common Pleas Court himself, his defense lawyer contended that he shot him in self-defense of his sister, Vicky Smith, who was in a fist fight with the victim on an unlicensed club floor when he was shot. But Smith's testimony Wednesday, as the trial lasted, witnesses may have undetermined her brother's cause, whatever that means. She told the court that while she told Arnett 3 times to stop bothering her, then he punched him after he spat on her It seemed to her that once they ended up on the floor under the bar, Arnett was deliberately missing with the punches because she was a female. So allegedly, this guy got into a fight with this guy's sister. Says that he was bothering the sister, and this guy got involved, pulled out a gun, and shot the guy. So it says Koonce face likely term of life in prison with the possibility of parole after 18 years when the judge sentences him on March 13th. The defense attorney of the relatives, Arnett, who watched from the courtroom gallery, declined to comment after the verdict was read. Jennifer Donovan, assistant Lucas County prosecutor, conceded during the closing arguments that Arnett was being a jerk when he aggressively hit on Mrs. Smith before Koonce's girlfriend, Annette Cobbler, who testified Tuesday afternoon that she told him 10 times that she wasn't interested in him. But none of that justified what happened next, Miss Donovan said. Mrs. Smith had taken care of it, and she and another club member had Arnett down on the floor, overwhelmed and surrounded, she said. So it looks like the women of this motorcycle club got involved, and they pinned this alleged victim on the ground, the guy who was shot and killed. The victim allegedly was hitting on a girl, and things got out of control, right? He started hitting on a girl. The girl said she wasn't interested. Her friends get involved, and they're telling the guy, we're not interested. And they get this guy pinned on the ground. And that's when the brother of the female pulls out a gun and shoots him and kills him on the floor of the club. So then he went to trial. He got convicted. And now in March, he will be sentenced probably to 18 years. That's a long time. But none of that was justified at what happened next. He was on the ground, surrounded and overwhelmed. Although police said witnesses of Koonce confessed to the shooting under interrogation and allowed as how it would likely result in his going away for a long time. No recording of that interrogation was available because of a mistake at the police headquarters. What? But he was still convicted, even though he allegedly confessed, but they don't have a recording of it. Mrs. Tharp argued in closing that the prosecutors did not even prove that Koonce fired a single shot, considering several other club patrons were determined to have guns at the time, including one plainly in view in surveillance video from inside the club. None was matched to the single spent shell casing found at the scene, and detectives testified that Koonce told them that they would never find the gun he used. Investigators determined that Arnett was not armed. Mrs. Tharp also repeated that Koonce himself had been shot on 2 different occasions, once by 13 bullets, to promote the idea that he would be partially wary of aggressive people in the place like a motorcycle clubhouse. Then why was he there? Like, if he was worried about aggressive people, why would he be there in the first place? That's his own fault. If you think there's going to be aggressive people, why would you go to a place like that? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, these people have no brain. You know what I'm saying? It says he was particularly wary of aggressive people in a place like a motorcycle clubhouse while being protective of his sister. He did what any of us would have done to protect a loved one, the defense lawyer said. Watch the video for yourself and you will see. But Mrs. Donovan said Koonce past victimhood did not give him a license to give personal hardship to somebody else. So this dude is going to prison for quite a while. So the alleged victim in this case, right? He was arrested before all this happened. It says Toledo Gang Task Force arrests Central City man. Toledo Gang Task Force unit arrests the Central City man after officers located him in a home consistent with drug trafficking. Members of the task force were in the area Tuesday when they were requested to assist with weapons call at the residence of 3200 block of Glenwood Avenue. Toledo police said when officers arrived, they saw a person matching the suspect's description in the backyard of the Glenwood Avenue residence. When officers exited the cruiser, Caprise Arnett, 28, ran into his residence and locked the door, according to the affidavit filed by Toledo court. Arnett is known by the task force for gang activity, police said. Officers forced open a door and Arnett was placed into custody while a search warrant at the residence, following a search warrant at the residence, 3 guns were found. Suspected heroin, crack cocaine, and pills were seized. Mr. Arnett was charged with trafficking and heroin, possession of a controlled substance, both 4th-degree felonies, trafficking drugs, and 5th-degree felony, obstruction of justice, and a misdemeanor offense. He had several other drug-related charges pending as of April. He appeared Wednesday in Toledo municipal court, where bond was set at $5,000. So this dude, this is the alleged victim in the case, and he had a history with gangs and drugs and all this stuff. So he just so happens to be at this motorcycle club, and he ends up getting killed by this guy for hitting on the guy's sister. So that's that case. Now we're going to talk a little bit. Hey, Maureen, how are you? Shout out to you, Maureen. Thank you for joining me today. So today, there's a lot of talk about the cartel. So a cartel boss was arrested, Rafael Quintero, and 29 others were extradited to the United States. We're going to talk about that. First, let me play the newscast about the guy getting killed. Let's get into it. Hit the like button.
Found guilty by a jury for shooting and killing a 34-year-old man last year. According to court documents, 30-year-old DeAndre Koonce was found guilty on 2 counts of murder and 1 count of felonious assault yesterday and will be sentenced next month. Caprise Arnett was shot and killed in March of last year.
The man has been found guilty of murder. DeAndre Koonce, convicted by a Lucas County jury in the death of Caprise Arnett. 34-year-old was shot in an after-hours club on Belmont last March. According to the police report, Koonce shot and killed Arnett during a fight inside the club. He's expected to be sentenced on March 13th.
So that's that. Now let's get into this cartel and what they got going on. So this guy is a notorious cartel member. He's like one of the leaders. Says Mexico extradites notorious drug lord Rafael Quintero and dozens of cartel members to the U.S. I got a video I'm going to play you guys. He's considered by Mexican authorities as the founder of the Guadalajara cartel. Mexico has extradited notorious drug lord Rafael Quintero and 28 other fugitive cartel members to the United States, according to the Justice Department. Caro Quintero, considered by Mexican authorities as the father of the Guadalajara cartel, was allegedly involved in kidnapping, torture, and murder of a Drug Enforcement Administration agent Enrique Camarena Salazar in 1985. An attack dramatized in the Netflix show Narcos. The DEA says Salazar's murder was in retaliation for a raid in 1984 of Carlos Quintero's 25-acre marijuana farm in Mexico by Mexican authorities. Caro Quintero spent 28 years in prison in Mexico for his role in the murder before he was released on a technicality in 2013. The Mexican Supreme Court later overturned the decision that freed him. The fugitive returned to drug trafficking as a senior leader of the Sinaloa cartel, according to the FBI. In July of 2022, Caro Quintero was captured by the Mexican Navy during an operation that resulted in the deaths of 14 Marines in a helicopter crash. He was caught after a Navy dog found him hiding in bushes. Caro Quintero, a cartel kingpin who unleashed violence, destruction, and death across the United States and Mexico, has spent 4 decades on top of DEA's most wanted fugitive list. And today, we can proudly say that he arrived in the United States, where justice will be served. The DEA acting administrator Derek Maltz said Thursday. This moment is extremely personal for the men and women of the DEA who believed Caro Quintero was responsible for the brutal torture and murder of DEA Special Agent Enrique Kiki Camarena. Also was a victory for the Camarena family. Today sends a message to every cartel leader, every trafficker, every criminal poisoning our communities. You will be held accountable, no matter how long it takes, no matter how far you run. Justice will find you. Quintero is expected to appear in court in New York on Friday. So this is a major blow to the cartels. The FBI's, he was on the FBI's most wanted list. There was a $5 million reward for him. President Trump declared the Justice Department in the United States to make this happen. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, did a tremendous job at getting this done, White House Press Secretary said. Caroline Leavitt said in a statement Friday, describing Quintero as one of the most evil cartel bosses in the world. The Trump administration is declaring the extradited individuals as terrorists. Mexico Attorney General and Citizen Protecting said 29 people who are held in different correctional facilities across the country were transferred to the U.S. They were wanted for their connection in criminal organizations involved in drug trafficking, among other crimes. The U.S. Justice Department said that those taken into custody Thursday include leaders and managers of drug cartels recently designated as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated as global terrorists, such as the Sinaloa cartel. And the Los Zetas and the CJNG, the new generation. There's a lot of them on this list. And the Gulf Cartel, the DOJ said that they include Martin Sotelo, also known as Adlar Martin Sotelo, who allegedly participated in the 2022 murder of Deputy Sheriff Ned Byrd in Charlotte, North Carolina. He allegedly helped lead CJNG and two alleged high-ranking members of the Los Zeta, Ramiro Perez and Lucio Hernandez. These defendants are collectively alleged to have been responsible for the importation into the United States of mass quantities of poison, including cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, heroin, as well as assorted acts of violence, the DOJ statement added. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the alleged cartel members would be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law in honor of the brave law enforcement agents who have dedicated their careers, in some cases given their lives, to protect the innocent people from these violent cartels. As President Trump has made it clear, cartels are terrorist groups, and this Department of Justice is devoted to destroying cartels and transnational gangs, she said. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emily Bove said the extraditions were a consequence of the White House and the negotiations from the position of strength, and the Attorney General, who is willing to lead the department with courage and ferocity. So these dudes are going to the United States and they are screwed. This is what he looks like now. And this is what he looked like a long time ago. So he's been hiding in the bushes for quite a bit. I mean, these guys are pretty popular. Look, people have tattoos of the guy. Like, people are walking around with tattoos of the guy. And the police found a diamond-encrusted gun. This is one of his guns. And those are real diamonds encrusted in a .45 caliber gun. All right, I got a video. Let's check this video out.
Today, a once powerful Mexican drug.
Hold on a second. Hit that like button, people.
Happening today, a once powerful Mexican drug lord convicted of torturing and killing a U.S. DEA agent in 1985 is not going to face a judge today.
Yeah, that notorious murder made headlines globally and even was featured in the Netflix show Narcos. Eyewitness News reporter Lindsay Tuckman joins us live outside the federal courthouse in downtown Brooklyn with more. Lindsay.
Yeah, Pedro, Shirlene, that once powerful drug lord is expected to be arraigned here in a few hours from now in the very same courthouse, you'll recall, that tried the other infamous cartel leader, El Chapo. Well, this extradition may even be seen as a bigger coup for the U.S. government, given the crimes that were committed. Let's get into it a little bit. Rafael Caro Quintero arrived in New York yesterday after being extradited by Mexico. He was convicted in the 1985 torture and murder of U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration agent Enrique Kiki Camarena, whose story was dramatized on the Netflix show Narcos. Now, Quintero was released from a Mexican prison in 2013, but in 2018 was added to the FBI's most wanted list for being involved.
This guy just went right back to it. He got off on a technicality. Now, do you think if he would have got out and led a straight life, they would have still extradited him? I doubt it. Well, no, I think they still would have. I think they still would have extradited him, whether he got out and lived a straight life and didn't get involved anymore. But I don't think you have that choice once you're involved with these people.
Involved with the highly dangerous Sinaloa drug cartel. He was arrested in Mexico again in 2022, but his extradition now comes amidst the Trump administration's push to curb Mexico's cartel activity, and less than a week before the U.S. is set to impose 25% tariffs on the country.
And the cartel are terrified to come to the United States prison. They are terrified to end up in Colorado. And they should be, because they're going to be sitting in a hole by themselves for the rest of their life. They won't even be able to read mail, nothing. They'll bring a shower right to them. They'll get small portions of food. It's going to be terrible. It's nothing like where they come from. Because, I mean, they're down with the cartel. They make a lot of money. They can get anything they want where they are. They come to the United States, they're like fish out of water.
Now, 28 others were also extradited as well for drug trafficking and other crimes. Again, Quintero's arraignment is expected to be held later this morning. And in that arraignment hearing, we are expecting to see the courtroom packed with other DEA agents because of the crimes that he was originally convicted on. And they are expected to speak afterwards as well. Live in downtown Brooklyn, Lindsay Tuckman, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
To a Fox News alert today, 2 of the 29 cartel members who were just extradited to the U.S. from Mexico, including one accused of killing a DEA agent back in 1985, will appear in a New York court today.
Chanley Painter is here with all the details for us. Chanley?
Hey, good morning. So at least 2 of those defendants will be arraigned today in Brooklyn federal court, according to Reuters, including a drug lord who is alleged to have been among those responsible for the murder of the U.S. DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camara in 1985. This comes as Mexico on Thursday handed over 29 high-profile drug cartel members to the United States as part of an unprecedented extradition as the Trump administration ramps up pressure on drug trafficking organizations, illegal immigration, and fentanyl production. According to prosecutors,
Here's a picture of Kiki Camarena. She said the name wrong, but it's Kiki Camarena. And this is the DEA agent that was tortured and killed by the cartel in, I think, 1985. Somewhere around there. But he allegedly was involved with all that. This is him.
Prisoners face charges related to drug trafficking and in some cases homicide, among other crimes. And among them are members of 5 of the 6 Mexican organized crime groups designated earlier this month as foreign terrorist organizations by the Trump administration, guys.
Chanley, thank you very much. So keep in mind, we heard from the president yesterday that the tariffs are coming, and we're going to talk about that throughout the morning. They're going to come down hard on Mexico to the tune of 25%. And when Mexico heard about it, he started negotiating with the president, Sheinbaum, down in Mexico. So what did she do? Just a couple of days before the tariffs are supposed to go into effect, she releases these. We extradite into the United States these 29 jailed cartel members, including somebody who is at the top of the most wanted list for 40 years. She also is pulling out all the stops. They say, this is Mexico's point of view, they've arrested more than 400 people since February after she announced that they were going to send 10,000 troops to the northern border for them. They've seized 12 tons of narcotics, coke, meth, and 120 pounds of methamphetamines and fentanyl. It's all about trying to keep those tariffs from happening, but they're happening on Tuesday.
Yeah, Donald Trump's going to hold them accountable. He wants this to end. He wants them to protect the borders. He wants them to stop allowing individuals, especially cartel members, people bringing fentanyl over, trafficking children across the border.
But the cartel can't be happy. I mean, Mexico is a narco state, and now because of the president's pressure, their number one enterprise, which is getting the people across the border, people pay tens of thousands of dollars to get across the border. That has been totally disrupted. Now you have the Mexican president turning over the bosses because just because they're in jail doesn't mean they're not running the criminal enterprise from jail as well. And the tunnels are being sealed with concrete. I mean, it's pretty.
I mean, it seems like hell's raining down on them, you know. Everywhere they look, there's people getting busted. They're putting an end to their whole operation because they had it way too cushy for way too long.
pretty much all maximum pressure against the cartel branch.
Yeah, two of the leaders are from a now defunct cartel. They've been in prison that long. There were cartel leaders, security chiefs from both factions of the Sinaloa cartel, including their finance operatives. Because guess what happens when they're here? We get to talk to them, and we get to interrogate them. We get to unwind them, and we say we can use their conditions as a way of getting them to talk. And it also goes to show those people that are now out and functioning in Mexico. This is what you're looking at. Retribution American style. You're going to be extradited out here. You're not going to have a cushy situation where the cartels, some would say, are more powerful than the government. So this is almost an out for the president of Mexico, perhaps to get control of their country for the first time in decades.
That's right. You're going to be in a box for 23 hours out of the day, no windows, and you may get some sunlight for 45 minutes a day. That can get people to talk.
Well, so she's trying to make nice with Trump. It's not going to work because he's going to still levy those tariffs on them. But what impressed me is just the fact that the DEA has had this picture of this agent who was murdered by this guy, murdered in 1985, up on the wall, and they've been looking for this particular guy. This particular kingpin was convicted down in Mexico, and he was supposed to serve 40 years in prison, but then in 2012, inexplicably, suddenly he's out. He was recaptured 10 years later, and we've been waiting to get our hands on him, and now we've got him.
And you saw the video of him landing in New York City yesterday.
Nothing's certain in the tariff world. It could change at any moment. We're a Truth Social post away.
It's a negotiation, and I like that we continue to get stuff as he uses it as a negotiation tool.
Right. The problem with the negotiation is it scares the living daylights out of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Wall Street went a little south yesterday, but then again, he could say something and it'll go straight up today.
That's a video of him back in the day when he was first arrested back in 80-something, 85, I think it was. So 85, he gets out in 2013. That's what, 17 years or something like that. What do you guys think of this situation? There was a $5 million reward to capture this guy.
Cartels are now going to be seen as foreign terror organizations. Would you think about ordering U.S. Special Forces into Mexico to take them out?
Could happen. Stranger things have happened.
Could happen. Damn, they got a lot of them too. 29 members. "29 bosses of the cartel were extradited." That's a lot. Says Mexico sends drug capos to the U.S. as tariff threat weighs. This is from the Justice Department. Attorney General Pam Bondi announces 29 wanted defendants from Mexico were taken into custody. So they have it on the website. They all face life imprisonment. A couple of them face death penalty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them face the death penalty. And Rafael Quintero is one of them. So 5 of them faced the death penalty, I think, for the murder of the DEA agent. And they might end up getting it. But what do you guys think? Do you think some of these guys are going to talk? I don't know if they'll let this guy talk. You never know, though. Crazier things have happened, right? Craziness. Listen, we got a lot of stories for you, a lot of good content on the way. I'm going to be dropping part 2 with Breeze tonight, 10 o'clock. Don't miss it. Breeze got some good stories. He talks about his time in the Brotherhood. It's called the Brotherhood. And he allegedly joined that club for a little while. And he never talked about it, but he talks about it with me, so don't miss it. I'll play you guys a clip. Shout out to Breeze. Go check out his channel, Expansive Human. Anything is possible, Maureen says. And shout out to Miklo 1%er. His interview is going to be dropping soon, too.
This is Miklo 1%er, and I'm chatting with Staxx.
Los Padres MC. He has an MC that he started, and it's going strong. Shout out to him. He tells me his story. It's a pretty interesting one. That one's going to be dropping soon, too. And remember, if you want to see these videos without any interruptions, without them being chopped up as a full interview, go subscribe to the members, and you will be able to see them uninterrupted. Let's get into these.
We've gone over this before because of like the blood ties. If you killed my dad, I hate my dad, but I'm still going to get your ass. If you killed my cousin, maybe I haven't seen him in a few years, but I'm still going to get you if I get a chance. So
yeah, and if they piece it up in one charter, the other charter is like, nah, we're not piecing it up.
Yeah, 20 miles down the road, now you're pulling into a bar going, hey, we're cool and fucking down there. Never. There's mom and pops clubs. All the RC clubs, to me, in my mind, are more tighter and better. I'd rather be in a club with 20. Well, I don't want to be in any club, but if I was, I'd rather be in one with 20 people that are tight than 2,000 people that just want to politic and fight 5 other. All of them. Where I came from, it was them against pretty much every club. So it's not very much fun. It's just paranoia and it's an ego trip, dog. And no one will ever, it can never go back to riding because of the.
So would you ever join a club? Would you ever join a club again? And if no, why?
Never, just because I don't play well with others. It's not as much as I'd like to get in there and have fun and ride around. It just doesn't boil down to that for me. And the drama gets going and it's just a lot. I don't know why I don't fit into that, but I would never do it again because it would be like a dog returning to its vomit, dude. I've already been in a gang. I've been in 3 clubs. It's not. I'm washed up, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm 30.
And what do you think about the law enforcement labeling these clubs a gang, like they labeled the Hells Angels as a criminal
100%.
organization?
How are you gonna say it's not? Is what I want to hear. What's anybody's argument that it's not a gang? Because if a Southsider or whatever you want to say, gang member, Norte, I'm not singling anybody out. If they get a job as a cashier, what? Now they're not in a gang? I mean, I call it for what it is. Anything more than 3 people. Look it up in the dictionary. I'm pretty sure it says 3 people or more is a gang. So just going by what I can read, I don't know.
So that interview's dropping tonight. Don't miss it, 10 o'clock. I appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch the show. I'm going to be dropping a lot of content, so stay tuned. And if you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, start your own fucking podcast. I appreciate all you guys. And remember, don't be a bitch.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged. And investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.